Over the years, it has seemed in our nation that video games have become a major problem in today's youth. Um, Fletcher, a reporter from Cherishman News, reported that Jeff Wise shot and killed 9 people in Red Lake, Minnesota, and apparently had an addiction to what is called virtual games. Now stay with me for a minute and pretend you have a sibling. You just recently got a new gaming system and your sibling has been acting in a more violent demeanor. Now, is this caused because that you've just gotten a system, or is it because they're just changing? Now, the government and places like Congress believe that video games are the cause of this violence in youth. Now, I'll be discussing what is considered to be violent video games, are video games causing antisocial activity in youth, and if video games are the cause of these violent crimes. Now, really, what is considered a violent video game? What people really consider violent video games would be the extreme bloodshed and sexualized content and the fact sometimes racist things that are portrayed within video games. Now, things like Call of Duty and GTA 5 seem to be show these traits and more popular among the youth. Now, Jacob Roberts went on a killing spree, killing 2 people and wounding 7. And he was apparently a high-stakes player of video games. Now, even though he was playing video games, it really doesn't mean that it could have had directly, because video games just happen to be very popular in our society. Just because someone committed a crime doesn't necessarily mean it's linked to video games. 4/5 of households in America, according to a study by Anderson, show that families have a device used for playing things such as games. Now, since families have all these devices now, there's more time going to these systems rather than spending time with their families. Now, the average player plays 2 to 3 hours a day on these systems, and a study has shown that people that play Call of Duty and stuff for excessive amount of hours seem to have lower moral standards and hostile expectations. The child went on to play 16 hours straight without a break by a study shown by Nestle. And this is just one of those, is a lower binge. People have gone to play ridiculous amounts, days straight, for weeks. It's ridiculous. Now, not all these variables are present within these studies, though. They leave out very important things that they don't account for. What were the people like before they went into the study, or their emotions towards certain things, their standards or their beliefs. Now, are crimes really linked to video games, or are they just something else entirely, such as mental illness in the youth when they've committed these crimes? Video games are very popular in the youth, and youth are more, it's shown that youth are more susceptible to deception. Now, since GTA and stuff like that is very popular in the youth, it awards the players for killing and successful robberies. Now, Eric Harris went on to play GTA, and he went on a rampage at a mall, and he had psycho tendencies, reenacting a scene from one of the games he played. His psychiatrist and FBI caseworker showed that he had very much enjoyment for such games. Now, although youth crime can be linked to evidence or specific reasons, although the violence in youth can be linked to video games and such other things, there really is no specific reason why sometimes youth commit such crimes. As I mentioned earlier, Jacob Roberts went on the mall shooting, and shortly after he committed suicide, but he had no connection to any of the victims. It was quite random. As shown, there is much cause for violence in the world we live in today. As I discussed, some considering violent video games and how they lead to antisocial behavior, and if video games are behind violent crimes. Video games may be behind issues, or they may not be, but they hold a place in the lives of youth today. And since they are a part of the lives of the youth, they have taught youth many things. So when it's all said and done, are video games the cause for these violent acts, or is it something else? Matt?
Do you think there should be like a certain age limit on like when kids should be able to play like those type of video games or not?
Well, currently, like, you got your M, your T, and E stuff, so like you're not supposed to be able to purchase it unless you have like a parent for like the rated M games. I think personally, I think the limit should be like how it is right now, but like someone can just go and buy it for them right now. They don't have to get it themselves, so I don't quite know what should be done. Chelsea?
Did you read anywhere how the parents felt about the games?
How the parents felt about the games?
Yeah.
I read something like they felt like it was affecting their children, but not very much in the sense that caused like a crime or such.
So, like, did it, anything ever say, like, do people have, like, mental illnesses, and then if they play the video games that it might trigger that? Like, somehow they're connected more than being, like, one or the other? Like, why they're committing those crimes?
I didn't read anything about if it would trigger anything like that, but I think that since if someone had an illness such as that, like it could trigger something like that depending on the illness.
Do you think that they cause violence?
First, yes. At least in like, not in like the major sense, but they cause like aggression, but I don't really think it sticks around. It's just for a short period of time.
Okay, thank you.